Welcome everybody at this week's Spark. Hope you enjoy listening to Marlene Badenhorst today. Thank you, Marlene.
Today, I hope I can help you to find it easier to remember names, as I personally struggle with this. A person's name is to that person the sweetest, most important sound in any language, according to Dale Carnegie. So by making the effort to learn someone's name, you show that you care. Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you said or what you did, but they will always remember how you made them feel. Names are difficult to remember because names do not give our brains a lot of or something to latch onto. They call it arbitrary information. You hear the name, you assume it will be easy to remember, but something else pops into your mind and distracts you, and the name is gone. Experiments done on the art and science of forgetting and remembering someone's name showed that people were better of remembering someone's occupation than his name. For example, the Baker-Baker paradox, where the researchers showed a picture of the same face to two people. He told number one that the man's name was Baker, and number two, that the person's occupation, he said, he is a baker. It was much easier for person number two to remember the man's name because he had a lot of association of the profession of a baker, like bread, like smelling the bread, like lots of things in his brain that could connect to that word. While person number one could only connect the person's face with his name. We have to put more effort into remembering names. It helps to use the person's name immediately, of course, like saying, it's nice to meet you, Amanda. By doing this, you force your brain to interact with the information in a new way, engaging all parts of the brain and body to speak it. By doing this, new neural pathways to the person's name are formed, making the recalling of the name easier. If you use the name discreetly more than once in the conversation, the chances of remembering it are better, and the person feels important. Repeat the name at least when you say goodbye so that you can ask for it again if you have forgotten it. It also helps to write down the name so that you can see it visually. Maybe you can also add some notes about the person and quiz yourself on the name during your time together and at the end of the day. For me personally, it's much easier to remember a name from a name tag than just by hearing it. If you forget someone's name, admit it and ask for it again. It shows that you care enough about the person to make a point of knowing their name so that you do not end up in an awkward situation where you have to introduce the person. Mnemonics are memory aids to which you link arbitrary, in other words, difficult to remember info, like names, to vivid, easy to remember information. A mnemonic, you spell it M-N, but you pronounce it mnemonic. A mnemonic can be anything from an acronym to a rhyme to a ridiculous story, for example, a word that rhymes with a name, or a vivid, silly image that turns the arbitrary information into something memorable. When you need to remember someone's name again, the image will pop into your mind as you have connected it with many things in your neutral network. This is a simple trick that will help you to remember a person's name in future. Ron White is a brain expert, and he claims to remember 301 names in one afternoon. He does it by using mnemonic devices. As I find his examples hilarious, I would like to share it with you. He points out that we often do not remember as we are not really remember a name, as we are not really listening. So first of all, you have to focus. He does it by focusing on the person. As he's walking towards that person, he would say to himself, what is this person's name? What is this person's name? Secondly, he says that you need a file so that your brain can retrieve the name later as saving it on a computer. The file would be a landmark on a person's face, like a feature. For instance, big ears, or pretty eyes, or a bald head, or big chin. And now you get a picture for the name as the brain remembers what it sees. It's easier to remember a face than a name. As examples, he uses a stove for Steve, a brain for Brian, a blue jay for Jason. Then you can put action and emotion to the distinctive feature of that person that you filed. For example, a bald head, as the brain connects it with other associations. For example, for Steve, the picture is a stove with a bald head cooking in a pot. And he would use it and remember it for all the Steves he would ever meet in his life. For Brian, Brian's picture, the feature of Brian that he remembers is his huge nose. And for Brian, his picture is a brain. So he would see Brian with a brain dripping from his nose. And in that way, he would remember his name. Jason is the one with the big Adam's apple. So he would see the blue jay, the bird, picking his Adam's apple. And that is the picture that he would keep in his mind. And that is how it's possible for him to remember 301 names in one afternoon. So why would we try to remember names? Why is it so hard to remember it? Is it worth the effort? I truly think so, because it makes people feel special. If you make remembering names a habit, as we all know, then using this trick of mnemonics would become more easier to us, and we would spare ourselves a lot of embarrassment. Now, I was thinking about our executive team and how my associations with them, the features that I see and how I remember their names. So first of all, Raylene. Ray is a ray of sunshine that comes into my house. Raylene is like double sunshine to me. Lean is not lean, but a beam of sunshine. So it's like double sunshine coming into my house with glasses on, because that is the feature that I remember. Amanda, when I met Amanda, I thought, why is she speaking in such a funny way? Because she sounds like a little girl. So my picture of Amanda is a little girl, and she's a powerful woman. So she would have a fist in the air and not say, Amanda, slap it, Amanda, Amanda, Amanda. Shani's name, when I heard Shani, I was thinking about the song, about the band, the Sha-la-la band. I thought it's the same as the song, but the song is Sha-la-la, I love you. Shani, I need you. And why I associate her with that name also is because the lead singer of Sha-la-la is Bowser, and he's got a very huge mouth. And Shani, I think, has a small mouth. So now you can try to find associations, to remember names.